All right, now it's time to bring up the code builder and look at the interface for it. So you're going to hit the letter C or your agent on touchscreen, and it'll see that your agents come up, and you'll choose the Microsoft MakeCode. Okay, that's the first one right here. Of course, you do have Python notebooks, but you're going to choose this one for what we're doing. And then once you choose it, let me tell you a little bit about what you have on the screen. So the agent will come up, it'll show you new projects, anything you've done will show in here. You can see things that I've started. These are tutorials. You can tell I've done 5 out of 6 there. There's a section for tutorials. Wait a second, this is kind of small. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Ah, there we go. Now I see it full screen. So I can look and do any of these tutorials. There's superpowers. So these are actual code that is actually an example in all of these. So you can go ahead and have that code directly on the screen and try it out and see what it does, and then kind of tinker with it after rather than starting it from scratch. If you don't choose any of these examples under the tutorials, there's other things too. So lots of different things to choose from. There's even block coding videos. So these are some Minecraft engineers that are kind of taking you through some videos, and this one has their daughter with him, and then some Python coding videos. So this is kind of your template screen, that's what I call. So there's lots of interesting things like, oh wow, being able to have your agent code some checkers or build a tower. You know, sounds pretty exciting to learn how to do that or to see. But there's tutorials too, and you'll see when you go through the chicken tutorials and others like that, the chicken rain, you'll see you're just going to start the tutorial, and that's how you do it. So what I'm going to do is actually start you in the main area for the projects. So I'm going to click on New Project. You'll give a project a name, so we'll just call this Sample. And this is the whole user interface. I did have it at full screen. I can make it smaller and go to the left or the right if I need to see what else is on my Minecraft screen otherwise. And I'll make this full again so you can see. So I have my blocks here, and under each component over here there's some basic items, and really all you do is drag the items out, and they'll be kind of grayed out if they're not part of some sort of command that'll make it run, but you could definitely move them into the slots and grab and take them out. If you right click, you can duplicate them, you can add a comment, delete the block, or get help about what that block specifically does. If you're on a touch screen, then you'll notice that you'll be able to touch and kind of hold it, and it'll give you those options. There's something coming up there specifically about placing those blocks. There you go. So some sort of example. There's the JavaScript example, and the Python even tells you specific things. It's almost like a library of items to tell you how you could possibly use it and what it might be used for. So that's for each item. I can hide the help if I need to. I can go to player, and you can see all the different items that you can do with the player. There's blocks, what you can do with different blocks, how you can place them, replace things, clone things. This is just for you to adventure around. Mobs are mobile items, so what you can do with those. How you can have the agent interact, whether moving, whether acting, whether grabbing inventory. Lots of gameplay rules, so clearing the weather, setting the time of day, setting things to peaceful or difficult, putting in game rules, giving points, experience points. There's positions, so we have relative positions and world positions. This is just meant to, I'm not going to explain all of these. This is just meant to get you an idea of what can be put. So when you see these round areas, this means that you can put it in another space and it replaces it. So that's also nice about those. So it's not a command on its own. Then you have loops, forever loops, starting loops, pausing, which also helps, repeats, while statements, right? While this, do that, and then you have some logic, so if-then statements, and some Boolean searches where you can also put in specific math variables that you might need. or math items. You can make your own variables so that you can run a command and that command can run other commands, which makes it much easier. And then last but not least, you have all of these under advanced. So you can create functions. You can create your own function. You can use arrays, creating, modifying, doing operational. You can do text. Okay, and this will put text either on the screen or through a character message or some sort of string. And then you can do things to have the builder specifically do something. And there's shapes, nice setup shapes where you can make lines, circles, and spheres pretty much anywhere you would like. And then even more, if you're interested, there's extensions. So if you have a specific URL or search for different extensions, I'm going to go back. So that's the interface. As far as you see on the screen, you can move items in and out, move it up and down. You can undo and redo things. I can zoom in to certain areas or zoom out. So if my code takes up a lot of space, it allows me to organize. At the top, you have your home screen, which just takes us back where we were. I'm going to go open this sample project again. My share button. So if I want to publish whatever I'm doing for this code, I click on Publish Project, and now it gives me a link that I can copy and a QR code. Of course, there's not going to be anything there for them to see. And then as far as, let's move this in here so at least we have something, and I'll zoom in. So I got to run. Oh, if I want to get rid of something, so like I have that extra thing on here about on start. I can just move it over here to trash it. That's another nice thing you can do. And so there's on chat command. Let's look at it in JavaScript. And so that same command that we saw and same coding we saw in blocks is now going to be shown in JavaScript. I would actually probably skip straight to Python. We want students to have some sort of writing text language there other than blocks. So I think the transition is you could skip to Python just because that would be just an easier thing for what they might be doing later. Python allows you to do a lot more. Switching, I'm not sure. Shouldn't be taking this long. Let me close out. Try that again. Go back to C. Go back to the home again. Let's look at the sample. JavaScript. There we go. And so you have player on chat, run, function, blocks, place, grass, relative position. That's all it did. If I want to switch to Python, just click on the arrow, and then it shows you the same actions that are happening using the Python language. And last but not least is when you want to get out of it, you can of course hit X or you can hit play, and that'll send you out of Code Builder. There is a help button, so references, blocks, what they mean, and support. And then you also have a more button. This allows you to bring in those extensions, save your project. If I hit save, it'll save it locally. So it's going to save it as a MakeCode project on my device. So you can see MKCD files rather than sharing it on the web through a particular link. And if I want to exit out of the code, I'm back here at the X. It really wants me to save it, doesn't it? All right, so now you can also click on the Microsoft logo and it'll open up MakeCode right there. And that's it. Close out a Code Builder. Boom, you're ready to go.